Okay, guys, let's get started. We'll start, and then if there are any persons that are joining, we'll check it out. Yeah. Hi, a very good morning, all. So I hope everyone are doing good. So I'm Chaitanya. I will be your trainer for the next 20 days, 20 sessions, which we are going to commence for Docker and Kubernetes. Before I dive into the concept of Docker and Kubernetes, okay, so we have a lot of things that we need to discuss in the Docker and Kubernetes part. And I don't want to get involved into the technicalities, technical related information in the first day of the session itself. Okay. So for you, it might be a demo, and but for me, it is a normal class that I'm going to take. Okay. So yeah, I don't want to get into more technicalities, and I don't want to make you what I can say bored of technical stuff in the first day itself, or else confused or making you overwhelmed related to the technical stuff. We'll discuss about all the technicalities, all the related terminologies of the Docker and Kubernetes when we go in deep into the concepts. Okay. So now, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Chaitanya. I'm the trainer for you for the Docker and Kubernetes. I'm working as an DevSecOps engineer in a top MNC company. Okay, senior system administrator. Since from 2013 onwards, I am into the IT. Okay, so yeah, so that's my profile. All right. So whenever you come into the certification, I done my AWS Solution Architect Associate level and professional level, and I am a CKA certified solution. CKA certified administrator, certified Kubernetes administrator, and as well as I have my Red Hat Linux certifications. I have my Microsoft certifications. So comparatively, if you can see what are the lot of, so I have a lot of certifications related to this DevOps related thing, Terraform, and then AWS, this Kubernetes like that. In which ways, here we are going to discuss about the Docker and Kubernetes, which is completely of the containerization and orchestration platform. Okay. So what you are going to learn in Docker and Kubernetes, before we understand that particular concept, let me have an expectation from your side. What are you expecting? So I want your introduction related to what is your name, and are you an employee? If you are employee, what is your designation, and what are your expectations towards this Docker and Kubernetes? I just want to know about these small things, and later we will start about the syllabus and what is Docker and what is Kubernetes. We'll discuss about that, and then we will dive into the main concept of getting into the concepts. Okay, whatever the basic concepts are there that we are going to learn, and later we will go into the main terminologies and whatever the explanation part and whatever the practical part that you are going to check it out. Okay, so now please introduce about yourself, and please tell me about your expectations. What are your expectations? I hope my voice is pretty clearly audible for you. Is there any disturbances? Please let me know. Yeah, go on.
Hi, myself Prabhakar. I have been working in IT since 11 years. So currently I'm working as a senior consultant.
Okay.
Yeah, I never come across any Docker and Kubernetes stuff for the last 11 years. So there is a plan in the future where we are going to use the Docker and Kubernetes.
Hmm.
So that's the reason like I have joined this course.
Okay, consultant in the sense, what is the technology that you're working for?
IBM integration,
Mhm.
IIB, and MQ.
Okay, fine. Okay, we'll discuss about what we have to learn, what you have to do. Any which ways, anyone else? What are your expectations towards this Docker and Kubernetes? You said that you don't know about that Docker and Kubernetes, right, Prabhakar? So what are your expectations towards?
I need to understand how this product works and if it is like generally how this Docker and Kubernetes works for the application wise or integration wise. So if you want to spin off any Docker or Kubernetes container, how it will be.
Right.
So yeah, and when it comes to the so like operation perspectives, like how we are going to manage this Kubernetes environment.
Okay, in which ways we are going to discuss about that, all the concepts. If you go through the syllabus, you will understand everything. Okay, next person.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. I'm
Good morning.
Abhinav Pandey, and I have a total experience of nearly about 8.9 years, and I am working as a test lead in one of the organization in Noida. Uh, yeah, that's it from myself.
So, what are your expectations? So, don't.
Actually, presently I am deployed to a new client, and they are working on Playwright, and their expectation is that a person should have knowledge about Kubernetes. So I joined this.
Okay, fine. Next person.
Yeah, hi, this is Lakshmi Narayan.
Hi,
I have
Lakshman.
been working as a 14 years in IT industry as a DevOps lead.
Mhm.
So I just joined. Actually, I have experience in Kubernetes also, but I need deep in drive and complex issues how to get solved like that. So I'm not working from starting. Recently, I'm working on Kubernetes, but I need deep in drive. That's it.
Okay, so what is your day-to-day work in Kubernetes?
See, actually, the setup is there. So
Mhm.
I'm just checking this normal basic health checkups and all. So however,
Yeah,
I need deep in drive. That's it. I
that's
worked
okay.
on Docker before. Kubernetes I just recently picked up.
Docker in detail, Docker.
Docker,
Right.
yeah, I have worked on Docker. I need a Kubernetes in detail, deep in drive.
Okay, we can discuss about that. Yeah. Next person. Hello. Is there any another person who is going to say?
Hi, good morning. This is
Morning.
Sankareswaran.
Mhm. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, I have 17 years experience in Java JDE.
Okay.
So I'm working as a solution architect. So I'm looking for a high level architect level details in Docker and Hibernate.
Okay.
So I'm also planning to do some certification.
You are planning to do some certification. So what is
Yeah.
the certification that you can do with the help of Docker and Kubernetes by taking this course? We'll let you know about that. So yeah, thanks for your all your introduction. So yes, welcome to Docker and Kubernetes sessions. So what you are going to learn and what I have to tell you in this session. So when we are discussing about Docker and Kubernetes, when we are discussing about Docker and Kubernetes, what is this Docker? What is this Kubernetes? So now let us supposing from the basic point of view, we will start understanding the in detailed analysis of what is Docker. But before that, what is this application? How we are going to make application available for the end customer? So for example, you are an you have your banking application. For example, I am a customer to ICICI. So when I click on ICICIbank.com, so automatically it is showing some like I am getting a web application in front of me. Okay, so this is an front end. So in general, there will be runtime and backend for them for any web application that is running. So if it is a static application, then there will be a front end, and if that requires a database, then there will be a backend and runtime. So now the point is, now you are having this application available in your laptop. For example, I have this application in my laptop. How this application is coming into my laptop? Okay, so what is going to happen? So first of all, I am the customer for this particular bank. I'm not taking ICICI, but any bank. Okay, either it might be any nationalized bank or also any small scale banking setup. So I am the customer for this particular bank. Now, previously, before we are into this DevOps related kind of thing, or else before we are into this Docker and Kubernetes, how it will be conventional methods, how it is going to happen. So the banking people don't know how to build the application. So as a customer, what I have to do, I have to reach to the bank. If I have to deposit any money, I have to write the deposit form. or else if I have to write any withdrawal, or else if I have to do any withdrawal, I have to write the withdrawal form. Okay. So now, what is happening here? So whatever the requirement that I need, having, or else whatever the requirement that I have for the bank, either it might be deposit or withdrawal or else any another account opening, everything is done manually. So before we computerized, okay, before it is some banks are into digitalized, or else if this internet, whatever the internet that right now we are using in India. So we have an internet revolution from 2016 when Jio was introducing its free plan. At that particular point of time, we started, the revolution has been changed, and whatever we are accessing, everything has been digitalized. Okay. So before that, what we used to have, like somewhere like 2000 or 2005 up to 2010 also, we used to manually do the things. We have to go to bank, and either we have the ATMs, but still we have to go to the banks and we have to deposit the money or withdraw the money. So as a customer, it is something tricky for me. Every time I cannot go to the bank, or else every time I don't want to manually be there. So it's a time taking process. I don't want to do that. So what this banking people has done. So this banking people, either it might be any nationalized bank or also any small scale bank, they will reach out to an IT industry, okay, or else IT production based industry. Okay, so they will reach to an IT company. Simply, if I have to say in your word, okay. So in the IT company, you will have a product management service or else product management wing and product development wing, and as well as the operations team will be there. So, for example, there is a wing called as development team or as development wing. Okay, so this main functionality or else the main functionality of this team is to majorly focus on the development part of the application. So if any customer comes to the company and asks that we want to have this particular application, so what is going to happen? First of all, the requirement gathering will be done. So first of all, requirement gathering. So what is your requirement? What is the application that you want to develop, and what will be the front end? How you want to learn, how you want to have your front end, and what is your, how much amount of what I can say, you have this customer data, or else how much amount of inflow will be there every now and then. So within one day, how many people will be logging into your banking accounts, the total how many accounts are there. So everything will be calculated, and depending on that, the requirement gathering will done. So once the requirement gathering is done, then they will start working with the development process. So they will understand, or else I will make it as analysis. Okay, they will understand the requirement, they will analyze the requirements, and they will pick up the proper software. For example, the front end should be with the help of React.js, or else it might be HTML, Bootstrap, or React.js. By combining all of this, we will develop the front end, and back end should be the Spring Boot services, whatever the Spring Boot services, the Java microservices that we are using. For example, so how many services that should be there? User login should be there, user authentication service, user creation or user authentication service should be there. And then for each and every user, there should be an separate personal account should be there. If it is a company, there should be a corporate account should be there, or else I will call it as what I can say, company related account should be there, where it is going to provide the salaries for their employees. Corporate account will be there, wallets will be there. Nowadays, for each and every bank, there will be a separate wallet related application is available. Either it might be Kotak or also it might be ICICI. Any another bank, if you take, wallets will be there. So these are their requirements. So they will do the requirement analysis. And then after this is done, then they will go for the development of that particular application. So they will do the development. Okay, so this application is working fine. So where they are going to do the development? So here, these developers will develop their application in their laptops, okay, or else in their desktop, or else in their workstations. If I have to precisely say, if they are working from office, there will be workstations for each and every employee who is working under this team. So they will develop this application in the workstations. Once they have developed this application in the workstation, the application might work in their in their workstation. So now what is going to happen? They have to test. Okay, they have to check whether it is working in the server or not. So what they will do, they will move this application, or else they will pack the application and deploy the application in the servers. So these servers are maintained by the operations team. Okay, these servers are maintained by the operations team. Now, what is going to happen? So whenever they have moved this software package, what they have developed in their mission, if they have moved that, this particular in the server, that particular application might not be working. So there will then you are going to face a lot of issues with that particular application in the server. Okay, why you are going to face a lot of problem in the server? Because so previously there might be some applications that are running in an low level or else low version of the Java or also any another application. Now, whatever the application that you have developed in your computer or else in your workstation, that might have a high level version, higher level version of that particular application will be there. So the compatibility issues will be there. So because of that, that might not be working in our main servers. Okay, so then operations team will say that the application is not working, and the developer will say that no, the application is working fine in my machine. Okay, so it's working fine in my machine. They will call it as the term they will call it as it's working fine in my machine. So now it is not working good in the server, but it is working in the machine. So where is the main problem? Because of the compatibility issue, whatever the compatibility issue that we are facing. So this is the main problem for all the developers. Either they have to downgrade the application or else they have to upgrade the server version or else whatever the application that is running in the server. So this problem can be overcome with the help of another technology which was introduced, and this technology is called as virtualization. Okay, virtualization. With the help of virtualization, what they have done, they divided the server into logical parts. We'll discuss about the virtualization, but this is the main problem. And for that, we have the virtualization, and later on, we got into a concept called as containerization. Okay, containerization. Okay, so I don't want to get into any spelling mistake. That's fine. So this is about the containerization. Containerization means creating a container and running the application inside that container. What is this container? We will discuss about that. But as of now, what is going to happen? Docker is simply a containerized platform or else a container platform. Apart from this, it is not the entire containerization is not a part of Docker. Docker is one of the simple tools. For example, if you want to watch YouTube, okay, so you will open it in the Chrome browser, or else you might be open it on Edge browser, or else you might be open it on Safari or Firefox browsers. So there will be different browsers to access your content. Okay, in the same manner, there will be different container platforms. Among those container platforms, one of the most important platform is Docker. Nowadays, everyone are moving to containerd, which is an integral part of your Linux, or else CR Rocket is one thing, and like that, Podman is there for Red Hat. Like that, there are several container engines. So we are discussing about only Docker, but if you see the container engines, there are a lot of container engines that are available. And again, telling you, what are the different container engines that we have? Types of container engines. Okay, if you see, CRIO is one of the thing. Podman is for the Red Hat Linux, and then RKT is one of the thing, and Docker engine is there. Like that, we are having several container engines that are available in the market. So among those, the most important and the most used container engine is Docker. So that's why we are going to learn about the Docker. And then we can go for the containerization platform. The containerization platform is Docker, and orchestration platform will be Kubernetes. Not only Kubernetes, in the orchestration platform, you are having Docker Swarm, OpenShift, like that. Multiple orchestration platforms are there, but the open source and freely used is Kubernetes. So we are going with the Kubernetes and Docker. So that's the main concept of this entire program that we are going to do in the next 20 days of our sessions. So any questions here? Do you understand what is the main reason why we went for the Docker? Anything that you want to ask me now? Any questions? Okay. Anyone, any questions, any confusions? Why we are going for this? Basically, we are developing a software where the software will be built and where the application will be deployed. So the Docker and orchestration will come into the deployment manner. So let me show you one thing. So how the CI/CD will work so that you will understand it very clearly. So now this bank asked me for an application to be developed, right? So now what developer will do? So the developer will develop the entire code. Okay, whatever the code that he has written, he will develop the entire code. Okay, so this is the developer mission. Now what he is going to do here is he is going to push the code into the version control. I won't take a specific name here. Okay, it might be GitHub, it might be GitLab, it might be Bitbucket. Like that, there are so many version controls are available. So this is what I will call as version control. Okay. I don't precisely name it as a GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket or also any another one subversion or it's like that. Okay. So the developer will push the code into the GitHub. Now, once the code is pushed into the GitHub, this particular code has to be built. Whatever the code that is generated, the code has to build. But before we build the code, before the code generates the artifacts, or else we are going to build the artifacts. So this particular code will undergo into a testing phase, or else code analysis and code testing will be done. So it's not actually like Selenium and all the things. It's just how quality is the code is, or else code quality. Okay, code quality test will be done. So this code quality test will be done with the help of Sonar Cube or else any another code quality testing tools. So the best one is Sonar Cube. Any which ways. So once the code is done and it is very good to go for a build, so then we are going to build that particular code. Either it might be with the help of, if it is a Java, then we will go with Maven or Gradle. So these are not the tools that I'm going to tell you right now. We are into the Docker and Kubernetes, but any which ways. So you need to understand this. So I'm telling you that in that way. So we will use Maven, Gradle, or also there is another code building tool called as Ant, and NPM is one of the build tool. Okay, Node Package Manager to build the front-end Node.js related code. Okay, so if we are using the Java related versions, then we will use the Maven or Gradle. Mostly I will use the Maven in my company. So now what I'm going to do here is, okay, so with the help of Maven, I will generate a jar file, or else there will be a war file can be generated with the help of NPM also. We are going to build the entire React.js into war file. So which will be the web, so the web version or else the front end. So what is going to happen? So it is going to generate a artifact. I will call it as an artifact, or else you can call it as, if it is a Java, it's a jar file or else .war file like that. Okay, and later what is going to happen? This jar file has to run. So if you have developed an application, if it has to run until this, it's okay if we are having a single server. Next, what is going to happen? This jar file will be running in the Docker. So whatever the containerized platform that we are using, so this containers will be running in the Docker. Or else we can use one more concept called as containerization with the help of Podman also. But basically, I will go with the Docker. And these containers are managed and maintained by a specialized technology called as orchestration. So the orchestrator is your Kubernetes. With the help of Kubernetes, we can orchestrate or else we can manage the entire containers, whatever the containers that are running. So if they are running fine, that's well and good. If there is any problem inside the container, that container should be maintained and managed with the help of a specialized orchestration tool. So here we are using K8s, which means Kubernetes, or else we can go with OpenShift, or else we can go with any another orchestration platform. But the best majorly used orchestration platforms are K8s and OpenShift. Majorly K8s is the open source and a freeware, so that's why most number of the people are going with the K8s. Now Kubernetes is running fine. Now, if you have to monitor the Kubernetes containers and monitor the entire application flow, how it is working, then we can go with Prometheus and Grafana or else any another monitoring tools like Nagios. Okay, so I will make it as Nagios. Nagios, or else I will go with Prometheus. Okay, Prometheus. Or for what I can say graphical content, you can go with to check this how it is working. To check this, we will go with the Grafana kind of thing for graphical visualization purpose. So now the monitoring will be done. So this is how the entire CI/CD pipeline will be happen. This CI/CD pipeline will be happen with the help of GitHub Actions, or else we can use what I can say Jenkins, or else we can use GitLab runners. So there are different CI/CD tools that are available. Among those, the major used tool is Jenkins. Okay, and GitHub Actions are also coming into the picture. GitLab runners, whoever are working with the GitLab, they will work with the GitLab runners. The most important concept of your entire CI/CD is, so this is an easy part. Up to here it is easy, but in the deployment phase, you are going to encounter with two major concepts called as Docker and Kubernetes, which is very important for deploying your application. Once the application is deployed, then the monitoring can be done by the Nagios and Prometheus. And then what is going to happen if there is any upgrade for your application? Then again, the developers, it's an infinite loop. So, and again, what is going to happen? The developers will develop the code and version control, code quality, and version 2 Maven artifact will be built, and then it is going to deploy with the help in the containers, and that can be managed by your Kubernetes. So this is going to be an what I can say infinite loop. So like that, if there are any upgradations are happening, so it is going to continue the loop with the help of the CI/CD pipeline. Understood about the CI/CD pipeline? Any questions? Any questions related to this? Which means what I want to tell you here is the only point is where we are using this Docker and Kubernetes. Why we have to use this Docker and Kubernetes? Where we are using the Docker and Kubernetes. If you understand this concept of where we are using this, then it will be very easy for you when we go in detail about this, what is going to happen in the backend. Anyway, just coming back to the main concept here. So now the point is why we need to go for the containerization platform. So we, in the olden days, we used to have a server. Okay, we used to have a physical server. So you know about this, right? So the physical servers, whoever are working as a system administrators or also into the IT world, they know about the server configuration. So we are going to purchase a server which is of 16 core processors or else 32 core processor. So I will simply make it as 16 CPU, some 256 GB of RAM. Okay, 256 GB of RAM. So it's a single mission. Okay, when it is a single mission, now what we are going to do, we are going to install the operating system inside this server. Okay, we are going to install the operating system inside the server. Now, when we are installing this, now what is going to happen? OS will be there. Okay, OS will be there, and now we are going to install the runtime. Okay, to run that particular application, either it might be Java or else it might be Python or it might be Golang. So there are several development tools are available. Okay, runtimes are available. We are going to use, for example, I mostly work with Java, so I will go with Java. So here, when we are installing the Java, they will ask you for a version, which version of Java you want to install. For example, if we are into the 2000, earlier 2000, I might be using Java 8. Okay, so the application which is running inside this server will be working with Java 8. The runtime will be the Java 8. Okay, Java 1.8 or Java 8. So this application will be running inside the server. Now, when the application is running inside the server, now this developer, okay, after 2 years, the developer has developed one more update for this application. Actually, the updates will be happen once in a month or else once in two months, like that. Okay, once in a quarter also. So now what is going to happen? Now this developer is developing another update, but this time he is working with the Java version 11. So he is building an artifact or else he is building an application with the Java 11. Okay. Now, can anybody tell me whether this application, whatever the app, I will make it as app version 2, will this application version 2 will run in this particular server, whatever the server that your app version 1 is running inside that particular server, whether this app version 2 will be running? Is there any chance of that? So those who are working closely with the software industry, Java related developers, can you please tell me whether it is going to happen in that fashion? Come on guys, 8 years, 8.9, I don't know. Somebody said me that you are into the Java development. Is it possible? Is there anybody? Version compatibility issue. Exactly. There will be a version compatibility issue will be there. So to overcome this problem, what we have to do now? So there is only one server is available. Okay. With old architecture, it is not possible. Exactly. So with one server, whatever the server that we are having, it might not be a possibility condition over here. So now what I have to do? So now what I will do is simply either I need to purchase a new server, but purchasing of a server is not a simple issue, or else I need to stop all these applications, whatever the older versions are there. I need to stop the applications. I need to install the newer version, but then older applications do not work. So there is an issue for me. So to overcome this, what the IT world has done, what this IT guys has done here is they have implemented a concept called as virtual machines. Okay, they have implemented a concept called as virtualization. What is this virtualization? In your CPU, if you are having a special character called as virtualization, then your CPU will accept the virtualization concept. So now what is going to happen here? It's very simple. Now, just for an example, if I have to say you are having a hard disk, okay? You are having a hard disk. Yeah, VMware, we'll discuss about that. But basically, if you are having a hard disk, you want to, that is 1 terabyte of size. Okay, 1 TB of hard disk is there. But if you want to divide this hard disk into small pieces, are you going to physically break the hard disk, or else logically are you going to do the partitioning? How you are going to divide the hard disk so that a piece of hard disk or else a piece of storage will be for your operating system. A piece of storage will be for your office files. A piece of storage will be for your personal storage. So you are going to divide the hard disk, but are you doing that logical way, or else physically you are breaking the hard disk? How you are doing that? Come on, you can unmute. There is no necessity that you have to type all the messages. You can unmute and you can just tell me. It's okay. So we are going to logically divide the hard disk into the partitions. Okay, so this is one way. Now, in the same fashion, whatever the server that you are having, you are not going to break the server into pieces so that we can generate some resources. So now what they have implemented here is logically we can divide the resources, whatever the 16 CPU and 256 GB of RAM is there, with the help of a tool called as virtualization tool. So the best example is VMware, ESXi, or else you can go with Citrix, or else Hyper-V. Okay, hypervisor also we will call it as like that. There are so many other tools that are available. With the help of these tools, what you can do, you don't need to install the operating system on the server. So this is called as bare metal virtualization. Okay, bare metal virtualization. With the help of this VMware, what I'm going to do, I will directly install the VMware on my hardware, and then I am going to divide this hardware into small logical missions. So those are called as virtual missions. Whatever in your cloud, whatever you are deploying in EC2 instances, or else if you go for Azure virtual missions, those are all following this particular concept of virtualization. So I'm going to divide this server into small, what I can say, small logical divisions, and those are called as virtual missions. So inside this virtual missions, I am going to install my guest operating system. So whatever you are installing directly on your bare metal, that is called as host operating system. whatever you are installing in the virtual machine, that is called as guest operating system. I'm going to install guest operating system, either it might be Ubuntu or Windows, any another thing. So it is simple as you are installing the operating system in your server. Okay, so I'm going to install, for example, Ubuntu. Ubuntu is my guest operating system, which I am going to install on my virtual machine. So inside this virtual machine, I am going to run my application. So now, if you can see, we don't need to have multiple servers. We don't need to have multiple physical servers. Within a single physical server, I can run my application. But again, there is a problem. So what is the problem? If I have to migrate this virtual machines from one environment to the another environment. So this virtual machine is actually in the development phase. So now if you see the software development lifecycle, so once the developer has developed this code, they have to move to the UAT environment. UAT means user acceptance testing. So they have first internal testing will be done, and later user acceptance testing will be done. So user has to accept whatever the product that you have developed, and as well as there should not be any bugs. And finally, it will be moved into the production environment. So now the moving of this particular application will become a hectic task for us. Why? Because I have to install all the application again and again and again and again in all the servers, which is a time-consuming process. Later, we have to work with the if I have to move this virtual machine, it's an what I can say, heavy weighted mission. Okay, why? Because we install the operating system, we install the unwanted dependencies, we install all the dependencies what are not wanted, unwanted for this application to be run. So, for example, if we say if it is a Java application, it need only Java. Apart from this, it doesn't require any another small tools and any another utilities. So if we are installing all those things, then the size of the machine will be increased, and when we are packing that machine to migrate from one location to the another location, it is going to be a hectic thing. Just for example, you want to run a restaurant. Okay, you want to run a restaurant, but you don't want to purchase anything. Okay, then you will go for checking out a fully furnished. For example, if you want to migrate or else you want to rent a house. So if you want to rent a house, then what you are going to do? So most of the people will check for an semi-furnished or fully furnished home. So in my perspective, I will check for a fully furnished home. Why? Because I don't want to purchase any another furniture, and as well as if I got a job. So now I want to move from Hyderabad to Bangalore. So I don't want to carry all those furniture with me, which is not dependency. So that is not required for me, which is a hectic task for me to move the furniture from one location to the another location. It is a very hectic task for me. What is my requirement? My requirement is to stay in Hyderabad and look for my job. And once I got a better job than this, then I will migrate to another locality. So then I prefer mostly hostels. Okay, rather than the rooms, I prefer hostels. So if I take a room, so it should be a fully furnished room. Why? Because I don't want to put that weight on my shoulders. Okay, so I don't want all this furniture, TV, refrigerator, washing machine, and everything should be carried out from. Those are unnecessary for me. If I opt for an hostel, then what is going to happen? In the hostel, I will have all my utilities, whatever I require. So I can simply move. So in the same fashion, so this application, whatever the application that you are running, it doesn't require all the dependencies. What is the need of knowing the IP address? What is the need of knowing the ping? Okay, so whatever the unnecessary, unwanted utilities are there in the Ubuntu machine or else in the Ubuntu operating system, everything will be packed. So the size of that particular virtual machine will be becoming somewhere like some 20 GB to 40 GB. So if I have to migrate them that 20 GB to 40 GB of that virtual machine from one environment to the another environment, it is going to be hectic for me. So to overcome this problem, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to implement a concept called as containerization. So inside the containers, we don't have anything unnecessary software won't be there. It will be having only whatever necessary for the users that will be there. So with the help of that, it is very lightweighted to migrate from one location to the another location, one environment to the another environment. So that's why we are going for the containerization platform. Understood why we are going for the Docker? Any questions here? Any questions? Is everything clear? Okay, cool. Thanks for that. Any questions, Abhinav, Piyush, Prabhakar, Ishwaran? Technically, we are talking about a lot of basic stuff. That's it. I don't want to get into more technicalities today. So I hope you understand what is this virtualization concept. Any question, anything that you want to ask me? So yeah. So we talk about the CI/CD, we talk about virtualization, and then we talk about different types of containerization platforms, and then we have discussed about the orchestration. And this comes under the software development lifecycle, requirement analysis, development, testing, and then going with the production environment. So I don't want to discuss about this also. This is also done. I hope I made it very clear for you what is what and why we are going for the Docker. So that's about the basic concept of containers, why we are going for the containers. The basic requirement for going into the containerization is that to overcome the overhead of carrying all the applications rather than the required application. To overcome that problem, we are going with the containerization platform. Okay. So yeah, what is the syllabus? What is the syllabus? What we are going to learn in this containerization platform and what we are going to do with this containerization and orchestration platforms. So basically, we are going to discuss about Docker basics. In the Docker basics, we are going to cover Docker architecture and then Docker lifecycle, or else I will call it as container lifecycle. Later, we will be discussing about Docker networking, and then we will be discussing about Docker images, Docker volumes. In Docker images, how to build the image, that is Docker file, multi-stage Docker file, multi-stage Docker file. Okay. And then Docker volumes, and finally Docker compose. I'm going to discuss with a simple example, and then Docker swarm. Okay, it is not very important, but this Docker swarm is the basic fundamental for your orchestration platform. And then we are moving into the Kubernetes. In the Kubernetes, we are going to discuss about creating or else KTS architecture or KTS basics, and then installing Kubernetes or else initializing the Kubernetes with the help of KubeADM. KubeADM is one of the tools, KOps and Rancher, and if possible, EKS. AWS EKS concepts we are going to discuss. So creating Kubernetes cluster. Please remember that I am not going to take you the classes on Minikube. Okay, so everything will be a production grade environment which we are going to discuss. And then KTS workload components. And then components, and then KTS services. In workload components, you are going to get with pods, replica sets, deployment, stateful sets, and daemon sets. So these are all the concepts that we are going to discuss in the workload components. And then Kubernetes services, cluster IP, node port, load balancer services we are going to cover. And then KTS health check with the help of what I can say, probes and sidecar containers. Okay. And then KTS ingress control. Okay. And then we are going to discuss about KTS storage. And then KTS advanced scheduling. And then we will be discussing about KTS Helm. Okay, it has network policies. And then, okay, Helm charts, and then GitOps. GitOps, I will call it as Argo CD. And then we will discuss about AWS, EKS. And then I will give a demonstration of an application. Okay, we are going to create a project, a little project where you are going to use the Java microservices, and we are going to deploy this with the help of CI/CD pipeline. So here we are not including Jenkins, but I'm just going to brief you how we are going to deploy that particular. So these are the basic syllabus that we are going to cover. There are lot of things that we need to cover. Okay, so this is just an outline that I'm giving. So it will take purely 20 hours of session. 20 hours of not 20 hours. I will make it as 20 days of session. Every day it will be 2 hours, not from today. Once we started the actual sessions. But now, so in my perspective, the classes are started. But in your perspective, if you take them as an demo, it's your wish. No problem. And later, what are the pre-requirements? Okay, the pre-requirements are basic knowledge on AWS. Okay, why? Because the entire concept that I'm going to discuss is all in the AWS EC2 instances. No, sir, I want to work with my on-premises, or else I have my virtual machines. We can run that on that also. So I'm going with the AWS EC2 instances. So the basic pre-requirement is I need to have a basic knowledge on AWS and how to create the EC2 instances. These kind of things should be there. And yeah, so that's more than enough. And you need to have a laptop with minimum 4 GB of RAM. So this is the pre-requirements to learn this entire course. And by completing this course, what is the certification that I can do? CK, Certified Kubernetes Administrator. So this particular course certification, you can do it. And the class timings will be? Class will be 9 to most probably 11, or else if I start the session at 8 o'clock, 8 to 10. Most probably 8 to 10 or 9 to 11. It one of the slot will be there. So this is about what are the syllabus, what are the pre-requirements, what is the certification that you can cover, and you will get the videos and related documents. Okay, any questions now? You can now, last 5 minutes, you can unmute. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Will the class timing changes, Chaitanya? Is it always 9 to 11, or will it be like 8 to 10 as well?
We are thinking of the 2 slots. Let me check with that, 8 to 10 or 9 to 11. So whichever is convenient, I will go with that. Okay. What's your convenient timing for this?
For me, it's like 9 to 11.
Okay. Okay then. So we'll see. Now we are not yet started. It's 9 o'clock batch only. 9 to 10 will be there. And after 3 days, we will decide whether we have to go with 9 to 11. So most probably it will be 9 to 11. So, okay. It's not like we are going with the OCJA. Any questions?
So I have a couple of questions. First one is like demo class mentioned 3 days. So like demo is done, or still we have a demo for 2 days?
Yeah, today is first demo session. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you will have the demo session. 3 demo sessions are free of cost. After that, you have to enroll for the session.
No, 3 pages are the same. I mean, we'll be joining tomorrow and day after tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not like I'm going to take the same session for the 3 days. I already started my Docker and Kubernetes classes. Okay. So your question is that are you going to repeat the same concept in tomorrow's session also? That's what your question. But I'm not going to continue the same session in the next class.
So
Next
we can
class
join.
we are going to have a new concept.
Okay, perfect. And next thing is like we have DevOps, right? Is it like related to DevOps or DevOps is different?
Sorry?
No, like normally in the industry, people used to say, right, DevOps. So my question is, this is like a DevOps only, or
This is a part of DevOps.
Part of DevOps.
See, DevOps is not a single tool. So DevOps is a combination of multiple tools. Either it might be Git, or else it might be Jenkins, it might be Terraform, it might be Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, monitoring tools like that. There are so many tools out there. On combining all these tools, we are going to have a concept called as DevOps. Now here we are talking about two tools, that is Docker and Kubernetes. It's not the entire DevOps, it's a part of DevOps.
Okay. So you are saying AWS, right? Like, so you'll be explaining these stuffs in the AWS itself?
Yeah, all the concepts will be explained in AWS environment, AWS Cloud.
Okay. So we'll have to create an account, or you'll be helping us to create an account?
You have to create an account. Why? Because we have to do the practicals. And by the way, it's not a theoretical sessions. Again, coming back to the point, I'm least interested to deliver the theory. I'm more interested in delivering the practical. Okay. If I don't show you the practical, you won't understand the theory. So theory will be there in the documents. So I said I will provide you the documents. So theory will be there in the document, but the practicals, whichever we are doing in daily basis, that will help you to learn the theory also. Okay.
And you said certification, right? So like any support will be given for certification, or the things?
No, you have to do it by your own. But whatever the certification requirements or questions in the sense, I will tell you in the topics itself. So this might be asked you in the certification. So then you can proceed with that.
Okay.
Are you going to cover this Prometheus and Grafana one in this session?
No, that's a monitoring tool.
Yeah, understood. But like in your, I think here you didn't mention, but when I opened that content of the course in the website, there it was like Prometheus and Grafana. That's why I'm asking.
That is Prometheus and Grafana integration with Kubernetes, monitoring with Kubernetes. Not like Prometheus and Grafana standalone, I am going to tell you. It's an integration. So if you see this, here I said you the project itself, right? In the project, how we are going to use the particular Prometheus and Grafana. I'm going to tell you in that perspective.
Okay, here in the 13th section, you will show how that works in Prometheus and Grafana. Okay.
Anything else, guys? Come on, last 1 minute. No questions? If everything is clear, then we will make a move. So have a nice day. Tomorrow 9 o'clock we'll meet and we'll discuss about the Docker basics. Have a nice day and
Thank you.
thank you.